What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys Soar, their version of Swoop. So here's the box, pretty nice image here, nice artwork as always. This is kind of the variant box where it says Dinobots instead of Diebots. It was a misprint. They later put a sticker over this, but the one I have happens to have that misprint on it. Here's the back. It's from 2014, a little bit older figure, still a really good one though. And you get some product shots here. That's really it for the box. Here you have the instruction manual, as well as a collector's card. As always, nice collector's card and manual. That's really it for the packaging. Let's get this open and take a look how good it really is. And here we have Soar out of the packaging. And he is a very good looking figure. We'll put the G1 cartoon up there so you can take a look, and we'll do a quick 360. You can see a lot of paint on this guy. So I'll just talk about that right now. He's pretty much fully covered in paint everywhere. There's really no unpainted parts on here. You got this metallic blue on the chest and the metallic red. You got this metallic gray. You can see that paint up close. You got the chrome on the nose or on the chest. You've got the chrome on the knee caps there, and then you've got the chrome on the wings. You do have some replacement parts, but this is what he comes with. I have replaced the head, so I want to show you the original face sculpt that he comes with. So here is the original face sculpt. We'll just put it right there, and it's always been a little bit derpy. It's getting close there. So this is the original, and this is the replacement face you get with the FansToys grinder. And yeah, it's definitely better. So it has two sides to it. It's got the kind of the smiling / open mouth face, and then it's got the regular face. And definitely an improvement with this one. This particular face is a lot better. So you do get a lot of accessories, so we're going to go over those. So you do get, just like all the other Dinobots, you get the sword. But you also get two guns, and really it's because they both peg into his wings. So you can actually leave them in his wings if you want to. You can actually peg them in and leave them like that. Or you can flip down the handle like that, and you can put that in hand. We'll get this in. They're all the same. Every weapon for these Dinobots all have the typical tab feature. So we're going to get those in, and we'll take a look. And there he is with the gun and the sword both pegged in. Me personally, you know, I think Swoop looks a lot better with both guns. Actually, we'll just take this off here. But again, they've done a great job with these weapons. Nice detail. You got the gold chrome on the end. You got the red and black plastic. No paint on this weapon. You do have the red chrome paint on here. And again, these are light up. The guns, these are the only ones out of the whole set aren't light up. They're just standard. I mean, there's nowhere to light up anyway. But the sword is light up just like all the other Dinobots in this set. You also get one other accessory. I'm not going to show it installed, but you do get this clear nose piece here, and that can replace this if you prefer that look. I think that's more of a toy look than the G1 look. But you also get alternate wings, so you can put these wings on. Again, it's screwed in, but these are, instead of the chrome, you have the painted silver. So if you like that look a little bit better, you can use this. Let's see. Actually, I think it goes this way. So the final accessory, which is something really nice, is a display stand. And, you know, normally with flying figures, I like having a display stand. This is obviously going to turn, you know, he turns into a pterodactyl. So you want a display stand, but you can also use it in his robot mode. So you can see on the bottom here, you've got this tab and then a slot right there. And that's what's on top of here. So that's going to fit right into his butt right there. There it is on the fly stand. I think that's a good accessory to include. I like that they, especially for a flying figure, you really need something like this. You do get one other accessory. It doesn't come with this figure, but it comes with the FansToys Grimlock, and these are the metal knee, or I guess thigh pieces here. So I guess these plastic pieces, which are in there right now, tend to break. I haven't had any issue, but apparently they're kind of breakable. So they give you these die cast pieces to replace them. The problem is they're on a pin, so you got to take the pin out. I just haven't bothered with it yet because maybe when it breaks or when I have a problem, maybe I'll replace it. But so far, no issues, so I'm going to leave that alone. But let's go over articulation, and there is something I want to talk about when we get down to the legs. But let's start off with the head. So the head is on a nice ball joint. You get that side to side. It rotates all the way around, and then you get up and down quite a bit, all the way down to there, all the way up to there. It is on a little weird joint there, so you can get it way down if you need to. That's mostly for transformation, but lots of movement on the head. You do get articulation on the wings, so the wings go back and forth, goes all the way forward that way, all the way back that way, and then you can go in and out, so you can go down that much, and you go out that much. You can also fold these out if you wanted to, but in robot mode, it really makes more sense to have it kind of folded inwards and tucked back. At least that's how I like it. You do get a shoulder joint up to there. You get a rotation at the shoulder all the way around, although it is hindered by this wing, but you can move the wing out of the way. You do get a bicep swivel, that sometimes tends to go in. You get a double jointed elbow, gets you all the way up to there. Rotation at the wrist. Typical FansToys hand, individually articulated fingers at 2 joints, and then the thumb is on a ball peg. Again, as always, I like these FansToys hands. You get 2 hip skirts, one in the front, one in the back, and you get up to there. It is hindered backwards. The top of the hip hits the hip skirt there, so it doesn't go any further than that. Out to the side on a friction joint. You do get a waist swivel, but you have to open up this chest. You could probably you don't have to open it that much, just a little bit, and then you can rotate the chest, or rotate the waist, sorry. It is a little bit ugly because it kind of sticks out, but you do have the swivel, so I'm going to give it to them. There is no ab crunch on this guy. That's just the way it's built. A lot of these guys didn't have ab crunch on them. You do have a thigh rotation right there. You get a double jointed knee that gets you all the way up to there, which is nice. Let's put this back down. You do get a ankle tilt all the way up to there, and ankle rocker. Here's where things are weak, so there's actually a weak joint right there. I did take this apart, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. You take those screws out, you lift off this metal. This is all die cast, by the way. There's a lot of die cast on this piece. I'm pretty impressed with how much die cast, but the die cast also causes problems, so I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But this is all die cast. You take this piece off. There are 2 springs in there, one for this ratchet joint, and then one for the inner ratchet joint right here. So you really have to be careful not to let those springs go flying when you open this up if you're going to do some surgery here. But if you take that off, you can put some floor polish or your typical whatever you use, Kiki, for loose joints. You could put that in there, and that did really help. So now I've got a really nice tight ankle, and before he really couldn't stand, he would actually, in this position, he would have fallen. So that helped a lot. And honestly, this was a fairly new, not very, pretty unused out of the box. And honestly, I think it's just a design flaw that this joint right here is kind of loose. So if you are going to pose it and you're not going to use the flight stand, then I recommend tightening those. And I tried tightening the screw as much as I could. That didn't do the trick. So the floor polish did do the trick, but now I've got some really, really nice ankles. You can get some great articulation on this guy. And he's beautiful on top of that. But before that fix, I definitely was a little disappointed with the ankles. Now I feel like it's a much more fun figure. So there's a scale. And he weighs in at 1 pound, 8.5 ounces, or 693 grams. Pretty hefty guy. And for quick comparison, there he is with the plus version of Blue Streak. Pretty good size. I mean, he's a big robot. Again, the scale on these, again, in the eyeball holder, but a lot of people think that the FansToys is a little bit too small. Me personally, I like the size, but in this scale, it looks good to me. All right, to get into die mode, it's actually pretty fun. This is one of the, back in the day when the transformations were really intuitive and fun before FansToys got really complicated. Granted, you know, these are all older molds, but go ahead and open up this panel here. Make sure you have the hand folded up, and you can get this in and close it. Then take the hand and shove it up in there, and it should look like that. We'll do the same on the other side. All right, next we'll work on the legs. Again, very kind of intuitive and fun. Go ahead and open up this panel. For some reason they put this on a ratchet. That's the other spring I warned you about, so be careful with that. Fold in the heel, and then fold on this joint here all the way inwards, and you can get that foot inside the calf, and then close this. Then you're going to unpeg these, and if you have a hard time, just use a spudger and get these panels open and leave them up for now. Same on the other side. Open up this little securing panel, and that's going to free up this leg, and then you want to free up this panel. This is going to be a little tricky. This is the one that they gave you the replacement part for. I think probably because people either break it or put some stress on it. But go ahead and get that popped out. It does feel like a, you know, a little bit thin plastic, but so far it hasn't broken on me. So go ahead and open this up. You're going to get this folded down. So you have this all the way to his back, like this. And then you're going to bring the foot back to the front. And that's going to basically just sit back where it was, and then close up this panel. And then take this, and you're going to see there's two tabs here. That's going to fit into his back right there. So get that tabbed in, and just pegs it on his back, just like that. Same on the other side. We're going to do that off camera. One thing I forgot to mention is you want to fold out this heel spur here. That'll give him a little bit more stability in the Dino mode. Right, so there you go. So we're done with the legs. Make sure you have that all tabbed in. Now we can take care of the chest. So go ahead and pull this off. It should be tabbed right there, but it comes up pretty easily. It doesn't really get stuck or anything. You're going to want a spudger to open up these tabs, or you can use your fingers. I just prefer having a spudger. And that's going to mate up with his head, which is really kind of a cool, I mean, that's very G1. But, and it's going to tab into the side of his heads. Make sure you have both sides tabbed in. You can get this all the way up like that. And now we're going to close up this chest, so you can just push that together. Push these hands down to his side, and they should just sit right on his sides, just like that. So we're in the home stretch. Go ahead and open up these. This is very, you know, shiny chrome, so just be careful as you're manipulating it. Make sure you don't scratch up the chrome. I tend to wipe off all of my fingerprints from these things because the fingerprints are very, you know, it's a fingerprint magnet, these guys. And then go ahead and push the wings back down, and they should sit inwards like that. And for a final touch, if you want to, you can open up this mouth a little bit. It's a little bit tight in there, so I tend to get a spudger. And we'll get them cleaned up, and we'll take a look. And here you have Soar on his flight stand. And really, really beautiful. We'll put a G1 cartoon image there so you can take a look. Just, it's really big, so the wingspan on this is really quite wide. Let's get him flat so we can take a measure. Probably going to be off camera, but I mean, just huge. It's about 18 inches across this wingspan if you put it flat, which is crazy. It's huge. It takes up a huge amount of shelf space, but really is beautiful. Take a quick 360. Again, all those details that you had in the robot mode come across here in the Dino mode. Very, very beautiful. If you take this off the flight stand, you can have him standing up, kind of on his feet. So there he is on his feet, but unfortunately there's a lot of weight on the back, and so he tends not to stand up. Even with these heel spurs down, I can't seem to get him to stand up. And it's a lot of die cast, so I kind of get that, but I sort of wish he would stand up in this mode. That would be nice. But yeah, even if you fold the wings forward, maybe, let's see. No, he just leans back. There's nothing to really stabilize his feet here. Still though, I really think just a beautiful, beautiful figure. Let's go over articulation here. So you do get a joint here on this part of the wing. You get a joint here, so you can get that all the way up and around. And there's a double joint there, and then again another double joint here on the inner wing, on the outer wing. I'm sorry. The head can go all the way this way, all the way that way. You can get it up to there, down to there, really far. And then you can get it on this ratchet joint down to there and up to there. So you got a ton of movement on the head. The jaw opens up all the way. I would never open it this wide. By the way, you can see this is just a fingerprint magnet. I'm going to have to wipe this down after we're done here. So plenty of movement on the head there. And then the feet, and you can see these kind of pop up a little bit. The feet do articulate. So you can fold them back for a kind of like a flight mode if you wanted them like that. Or you can have them down and just leave them that way. Whatever you prefer. You know, this is going on the flight stand for me. I'm not going to display him standing up. I'm just going to be on a flight stand. So final thoughts on this guy. I'll start with the positives. There is a lot of really good paint on this. It's, you know, pretty much head to toe. The forearms aren't painted that much, but everything else, I mean, the wings, the chrome is beautiful, and it feels good in hand. There's a lot of die cast. It feels like a solid premium figure. Also, it fits in really well with the rest of the set. I didn't show off the rest of the set here, but I think he fits in perfectly as Swoop. He's a perfect representation of G1 Swoop in my mind, at least for me, with a little bit of upgrades here and there, which is what I want in my collection. But for negatives, let's talk about the ankles are kind of weak, and actually it doesn't inspire confidence. You don't really want to leave this on your shelf because it's very top heavy. Because of the wings, you know, he's got a lot of weight up top, and so these ankles are a little bit weak. I did mention that I've tried to put some floor polish in there to tighten them up, but that doesn't mean he's super stable. He's still a little bit weak in the knees, and that's kind of a frustration for me. Is I'm worried to leave this on a shelf just posed, because if those ankles give out, it's going to fall, and the first thing that's going to break is this nose here, which is not die cast, that's plastic, and that's going to break or it's going to chip. So that's something that really bugs me. The other thing that bugs me is the chrome is a fingerprint magnet, so you end up constantly wiping him down after you pose him, play with him. I don't mind too much, but it is a little bit of irritation. But it's really the ankles that bother me the most. But besides that, great figure, highly recommend it. If you're looking for a G1 Swoop, Masterpiece Swoop for your collection, this is it. I think this is the one. So that's really it for this review. I am getting the Giga Power Superator pretty soon, their version of Grimlock. So I can do a little comparison between the FansToys Dinobots and the Giga Power Dinobots. So that's coming up. I also hope to have the FansToys Magnum pretty soon. But that's really it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.